Hello, everybody. I see some of y'all have already tuned in, and I'm happy because I have our speaker here on the backstage as well. But I'm really excited, really happy to have everyone here. Welcome to day 2 of Girl Heal. Um, Drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. I would love to see where everyone is coming in from. I know we have people from all over the world. I myself am in Washington State. I'm currently traveling, currently in Vancouver, Washington. Albany here. She is going to be our speaker that comes in right after this. And she told me she's from Alabama. So very, very cool. Thank you all for tuning in. I just want to say, this summit has been very powerful. We just started yesterday. Yesterday was day 1 of the 3 days of the Girl Heal Summit. And already that day was incredibly powerful. Whitney says she's from Whitby, Ontario. Oh, interesting. Massachusetts. Stephanie, yes, I'm excited to hear you speak later. Oh my goodness, we have so many incredible speeches today. I cannot wait. I am way too excited. And um, I think that you all will leave feeling very inspired, very grateful that you tuned in. So thank yourself for being here. Great to be here again, Jen from Dallas. Yes. And yes, I'm saying that the summit has already been very impactful. Yesterday was incredible. The speakers were amazing. It's not just, a regular summit. It really is a movement. It's revolutionary. This is history in the making. You are part of something powerful, global, and unstoppable. And I need you to know you being here is not an accident. You were called to this space. So let me tell you why this summit matters so much to me. For years, I carried pain, stories, and experiences that I thought disqualified me. But I realized that those stories, the heartbreaks, the setbacks, the healing, and the foundation of the empire I'm building today, that's why Girl Heal was born, because I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew that there were women like me and women like you, visionaries, leaders, healers, who have walked through the fire and are ready to rise. And together we are making that happen. We're rewriting the story of what it means to be a powerful woman. And we truly became the authors of our own life, and we are here to help you navigate that shift that you need to make in your life so that you can be at that place where you want to be too, and opportunities in your business, in your career, in your life. That's exactly what these women have navigated, and that's why we are so excited to share with you. So, again, over the next 3 days, you're going to meet some of the most powerful women I know, women who have turned pain into purpose, women who have stepped into their next level and are here to show you how to do the same. Day 1 was all about Girl Heal. Day 2 is Girl Rise. We had an author panel yesterday. It was beautiful. It was celebrating our launch of our book, Girl Heal, which just dropped yesterday, and it's already climbing to the bestseller list. It's already number 2 in Women in Business. How powerful is that? That just goes to show how incredible and magnetic the energy in this room is, because these women are truly, truly powerful, and they are really here to create this shift and support you in this shift. Jen here says, I would love to connect with any of the ladies who want to form a tribe just to support each other. Hopefully, Jennifer Lara has some sort of community we can all join. Oh, I love that you say that, because yes, I absolutely do. I do host Latte with Leaders every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, where we gather together and we do stuff like this, right? We bring together amazing women like our speakers, and our audience here, and we connect and we discuss different topics on business growth, storytelling, and personal growth, all of the things. So definitely, I will drop the link, and you guys can sign up to join that. And it is something that I shared yesterday, I believe, but I will share again. I will make sure I share again today. So thank you for bringing that up, Jen, because yes, we need more communities like this. And today, like I said, Girl Rise is happening, and I want to challenge you right now. Don't just watch the summit, engage, drop your thoughts in the comments. Definitely drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to know how you're feeling, how it's landing, what are your questions. We're here to answer them. And, just really celebrate the women that are. You hear, because they're really here because they've overcome all the things that have meant to break them, and they're still standing and they're still showing up for the world. So that is enough to be celebrated. And definitely share what hits your heart. We want to know how you're feeling in this moment. What are some of the thoughts that are coming through your mind? If it relates to your business in any way, that's what we love to talk about, because Girl Heal isn't about perfection. It's about power. It's about owning your story, stepping into your truth, and realizing that your next chapter is waiting for you when you say yes. So, are you ready to rise? If you are, type "I'm ready" in the chat, and let's start this day with power, with purpose, and with sisterhood. And let me actually go ahead and drop my Latte with Leaders link. That way you guys can sign up to join here, because I would love to see more of you inside that community. There's so much growth that happens in there, and so many of our authors and speakers tune in there on a regular basis, so you get to connect with them personally too and ask them questions, because it's really a collaborative space. It's really a space to bring your questions and um, your best self, just so that you can continue to learn and grow alongside us, because we're all doing that together. Okay, so I just dropped the link to Latte with Leaders. It's in the comments. Definitely sign up so you can join us on Tuesdays. Today, we normally would have had one, but we are doing this, so we're not hosting today. But I see Rashika in the comments. Excited to be a part of this community. Yesterday's panel with everyone's stories were powerful and inspiring. Jen says, "I'm ready." Yes. Lorelai, ready. Miss Jackie tuning in from New Jersey. Stephanie's ready. Jackie's ready. Yes. That's the kind of energy that we love in this space. So with that being said, we have a packed day today, and I think we should get started, because I don't want to stay behind schedule. So let's make it happen. I want to bring in a very special guest today. We have several speakers that have really empowering things to share today. I can go ahead and give you ladies an overview just before we get started, and then we'll go ahead and bring on Albany here. But we have Alyssa coming on. She sent us her recording, Understanding How to Unlock the Feminine Power. I believe she might have updated that, which is okay. We will send the updated version. And then Joanne, from 8 Engagements and Painful Divorces to Becoming the Architect of Conscious Love. Albany Riggins, How to Unlock Your Feminine Power, Be a Confident Woman, and Feel Empowered to Love. That's really beautiful. Sarai is Reclaiming Wholeness. It's More Than Why. Let Me Show You the How. Stephanie Robinson, Rock Bottom Was the Beginning. Ooh. Samantha, Where's Octavia? A Cautionary Tale for Women. And then Stacy Crowley will be hopping on as well. I believe we have her recording. So we'll start here with Albany. Really excited to have her on. But Albany is a relationship and here. Let me add her on here. Albany. Hi.
hello,
So happy
hello.
to have you here. Her and I were just having a chat before tuning in.
Yes, it is so exciting to be here. Jennifer, I am so excited. I'm thankful to all of you that have showed up today to be a part of this event, and it's going to be exciting, even for me, because we all have things that we've been through and we need to heal from. So let me just tell you who I am. I am Albany Riggins, better known as
Yes,
Coach
yes,
LB.
let's do that.
And I am a relationship and feminine leadership coach, and I inspire professional introverted women to unlock their feminine power, to attract and date quality men with confidence, to create lasting love. And today I want you to understand one simple thing, but a couple of things, but one thing in for sure is to decide. If you don't do anything else, today make a decision that you're going to become her, that woman that is confident enough to love yourself and to feel empowered enough to receive love from others. When you make a decision today, you're going to make a transition. A shift is going to happen in your life. Once you understand more about the feminine power, how to step into it, how to embody it, and how to cultivate what we call a healthy, loving, supportive relationship in your life. And this is what I want to introduce you to today, the concept that I teach in my 90-day program. It's called the silent flame, but you are the heart of the flame. The program is the silent flame, but you are the heart of it, which is the flame. And a lot of times when you go through life, you have heartbreak, divorce, setbacks, fears, rejection, abandonment, all those things. We become wounded. And when we become wounded, it takes parts of us away from who we were. And we start showing up as this unnatural person that we were nowhere near from the beginning. That wasn't how we was created. That was not how we was born to show up in this life, as depleted, disgusted, broken, and all that. That's not who we were. And we have lost ourselves through all the challenges and all the hiccups in life. And so today I want you to understand that I want you to become that woman who becomes the solution for change to create a healthy, loving, supportive relationship in your life, because once you do it, everything else in life changes. But you do this by becoming a leader in life and love, in business. Love what you do, love who you are. And through this methodology that I teach, which is FLAME, it's a 5-piece framework. You're going to learn how to become this person that becomes this leader, to love life, to love love, to be available to it, and to cultivate healthy, loving relationships in love and business. Now, you don't need your partner to create this change. Now, a lot of times people think, oh, I need my husband to go to counseling with me. Oh, I need my boyfriend to do all the things to create the change that I need, but you don't. And the reason why I'm going to share with you is because I was able to do it for myself. When you understand that you are the best solution for change to produce this in your life, you understand that the feminine does 2 things. It attracts, and then it also can draw people away. It can drive them away or draw them towards you, because you become magnetic, you become radiant, you become so bright. Your energy is just exuding you, and some people can't take it. It becomes so radiant to them that it consumes them, and that they can't take it. So they become a shadow. And when they're not front and center of your life, sometimes they will move away. And when this happens, you have to be okay with the process, because you're in it. And you want to be in it. You want to be this bright and beautiful, radiant person that loves the person you are and loves the life that you lead. Okay. So for me, 15 years old, I decided I wanted to be this person to help women and men in their life and relationships. I said I was going to be a wife and a mother of 5 kids. I'm telling my mother this at 15 years old. And at 20, I am manifesting this life that I told my mother that I wanted to create. I manifested the partner that I wanted. I manifested in 30 days the partner. Then in 90 days, I manifested the exclusive relationship. And not only that, I manifested the marriage that I was so much deciding that that's what I wanted. But the biggest thing of it all was that I did not realize that I had some missing components. Is that I didn't know what love was, what it looked like, how it felt like, and I did not know how to love myself. So there was no way possible that I could cultivate a healthy, loving relationship, a healthy, loving marriage. So, what I found myself doing when problems began to arise, I began to do all the things. I became that woman that was chasing her husband. I became the fixer. I began to be the overthinker. I began to, I want to change this person. I want him to be this way. I need to do. And what happened was he became no longer attracted to the woman that I currently was at that time. I'm young. I got married in my 20s. I was married for over 20 years. And I'm doing all these things, and I have no clue of what I'm creating unhealthy love because I did not know how to love myself. So, one thing I want you to understand is that you are the solution. Two things I want you to understand is that you have to be in love with yourself. And the day that my husband, then at the time, he looked at me, I was sitting on the sofa in the living room, and he looked over at me and he said, "You are not happy with yourself." At that moment, I realized that I had become the victim. And it disgusted me. And the reason why it disgusted me so bad is because I realized that I was making him the problem, him the reason for my happiness wasn't there. I was looking at the marriage the way it was forming out, that it was part of the problem. But I never took accountability for my own happiness. I was the victim. He was the reason why I wasn't happy, and the marriage was the reason why I wasn't happy. And the moment he told me that I was not happy, I realized I was the victim, and I decided at that moment that I no longer wanted to be a victim. So I stepped into the feminine. And this is where the feminine, the whole embodiment of my framework flame. The first framework is the feminine embodiment. And this is all about who do you become, your awareness. In the framework, there's three phases that you go through. The first one is all about the awakening phase. So I'm in the feminine embodiment and I'm realizing that there's a whole lot of things that I'm not satisfied with about myself and my marriage. And that if I wanted to fix it, I had to become this different version of myself. I had to show up in a very different way in order for things to change. And I realized that I didn't need him to do it with me in order for it to happen. I didn't have to go to counseling with my partner for him to sit on the couch with me to discuss our problems in order for the transition to happen in the marriage. I just needed to show up as a better person. And the moment I started doing this work, awakening to what was it that I needed, I wanted, and I desired. And these could be many things to you. But once you get clear on the ideal of what you're trying to create in life, which we start with a vision, always start in life with a vision. Create a story for yourself and be very detailed. Feel the feelings. Have a conversation with yourself. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Just live that out and be so crystal clear. When you do that, and you often drift in and out of that vision daily, you'll be very attached to it. So when life starts to happen and you make connections with new people or things or whatever, because it doesn't just work in love, it also works in just life in general. It can bring those things that you're really desiring to call into your life come forth. You often, what I began to do was I started imagining what life would be if I had this ideal of what I wanted to create. So I would go in and out and I would just drift away into like a vision, a dream like. And then I'll come back into reality and say, okay, that felt good. Because it's really important for you to feel the feelings of what you're trying to create so you can bring it into fruition more easily and effortlessly. So during this time, I'm going through this phase of like, hey, I'm becoming her, right? I'm not looking at what my husband was doing. I learned how to step into this womanhood of releasing, relaxing, flowing, allowing. And that was the feminine embodiment. That's all about the feminine energy. I stopped allowing things to be controlled because I was doing all of trying to control the narrative, trying to fix and do all the things, chasing. So I stopped. I put my hands up and I said, no more. I'm going to allow him to be the man that he wants to be. I'm going to let him do the things that he wants to do. And I'm going to put my focus on me, loving myself, understanding what I need, I want, I desire, and becoming more awakening to those things and focusing on the solutions that I was wanting to have in my life. Now, when I began to do this, everything started to shift very quickly. I wasn't waking up in the morning doing all the arguing and trying to do all the things. Instead, I was getting up and just in flow, in peace. I stepped into the next phase, which is the framework of love and activation. I began to study myself, doing some self inventory. I began to say, you know what? I noticed that I get upset. I noticed that when he leaves outside the door, I get a little nervous. I get afraid. I'm confused. And I said, you know what? I think about my experience. And that experience I was bringing back and recreating every time the man stepped outside the door because we had been through infidelity. And so every time he would step away outside the house, I would get nervous and anxious and I would start feeling like, oh, he's going to cheat. He's going to cheat. And then I said to myself, no, this is the love activation, me loving myself. When you're in the feminine, you love how to nurture yourself and become that woman that is caring and compassionate about her conditions, her state. And so I began to speak to myself and I realized I had to give myself a command. So you begin to have these tools. And a lot of the ladies on the platform here at Girl Heal Summit, they're going to be telling you about different tools that you can utilize to help regulate you because I realized I was all anxious. I was in fear. I was in doubt. I was in all these things. And I had to give my mind a command and then help regulate all these other things. And I had to tell myself, no, no more, no more of this fearfulness or doubting and mistrusting like what's about to happen. I gave myself a command. I utilized a tool to give myself a command to stop the fears, to stop the worry. So when I started practicing these little tools, it helped me regulate myself to to feel more confident, to feel more at ease, and not constantly in alert and like I'm just all over the place, going down the rabbit hole, always in his face, like, hey, I feel like you're doing this. No, I was more so relaxed in this love activation. I began to love on myself. I began to practice the self-healing techniques, meditating, journaling, spending quiet time, doing loving things and comforting things for myself to relax me, to become that confidence in myself, building that confidence and loving who I was every day, like getting up and just putting myself together, instead of allowing what was happening to take over because that's where I lost myself because I no longer focused in on who I needed to be. I was focusing in on the problem. So when I reverted the energy towards myself and stepped into that feminine embodiment, allowing, receiving, just letting things flow, accepting things just as they are, and things begin to change. So I'm loving myself. I'm going through the healing. I'm doing counseling. I'm doing therapy. I'm doing coach. I'm doing all the things. And I'm not afraid and I'm definitely not ashamed of it because I know that that's showing myself that I'm worthy and deserving of more. I stepped into the next phase because now I'm like, oh, I'm feeling myself. So what happened was my husband noticed something different too. All of a sudden, he wanted to understand what was I doing. So in this phase, the alignment And the alignment and attraction phase, it is what it is, ladies. The things that I was doing for myself and enjoying, my partner was showing up differently. He began to notice a change and he began to say, ah, you're enjoying life. What are you doing? I'm going to join you in that event. I'm going to go with you. How about us do these things together? So he began to tune in. So there's a couple of things that you go through in my teaching. It's the flame work. I'm teaching you the flame. It's a 5-part framework. But when you're in it, you're going through phases. First is the awakening phase. Then you're in the emotional phase, which is the love activations. Now we're in the alignment and attraction phase. Now we come into the consciousness phase. Okay. In this phase, you're fully aware of, like, hey, what I need, what I want, what I desire, and how you're going to better align yourself up to those things, right? So you become this woman that's like, hey, I'm setting boundaries. I'm speaking up for myself. I'm feeling confident. And these are things that I'm no longer going to allow myself to do. I'm no longer going to get outside of my character. I'm no longer going to act out. I'm no longer going to feel depleted by doing all the things and not caring for me first. And so that attracts. Because not only that, in this framework, I teach you about the experience. The experience is all about your connections, your meaning for life, your purpose, and your passions. You have to enjoy every moment of life in order for you to attract your partner, to attract others. If you are not enjoying the experience of life, you will not attract. Like attracts like. No one is attracted to sadness and gloom. People are attracted to things that make them feel excited and make them feel adored. People want that. And when you're in that every moment of life, which I call the experience, you're connecting with others and yourself. You're enjoying, you have meaning, you have purpose, and you're fully activated in your passions. You're just living out loud. You're tuned in, tapped in, and turned on by life. That is the experience. There is where all the excitement, the alignment, the attraction happens. And then you step into the next phase of life, which is the framework called the magnetic attraction. This phase right here, when you're in the magnetism, you are allowing anything and everything to come in. People are attracted to you, but you are also in flow. You're in this flow where you're simply being the woman that you're wanting to be. You're showing up as your confident self, and you're not afraid to have conversations with men. You're not afraid to connect with them on their level and not try to do all the things that we do in the masculine energy, which is trying to force things, trying to control the narratives. We're just doing things in a natural way. And when I began to do this process, my husband began to just operate in a way that just aligned to what it was that I actually wanted from the beginning, the vision that I created for my marriage. It began to just line up with ease and effortlessly, and I became so much more satisfied in that moment. The final phase is the emotional mastery phase of the framework. Now, this is the part where you get to really evaluate where you are in this process. Are you doing all the things? And are you really aware of yourself? So, once you start the process, the one thing that I want you ladies to know is that it never ends. You can get so comfortable in this place where you feel like I got it and you quit it and you forget it. Then life will happen and you'll start all over and you begin to feel that overwhelmed, emotionally exhausted, and guarded because you have lost your way. So, this is a never ending practice. So, when you begin to emotionally master how you show up and be aware of your alerts, and when you're out here connecting with men or in relationships, however, wherever you may be, you put up these filters that help you to identify where you are. So if you're dating or if you're connecting with someone and you feel like I'm anxious, when I think about this person, he makes me feel so anxious. That filter that you set for yourself is like, hey, why am I so anxious when it comes to this person? Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? So you're really being in that you're like analyzing yourself. and you are alert and you're aware of all the feelings and the emotions that that are happening, and you're standing in them, because they are like signals, they are like warning signs to just kind of help us. But we use our intuition in the feminine to kind of lead us to a healthy state and not
I
avoid.
love that so much, Albany. That was very, very good information. All
Yeah.
the manifesting and
Yes.
really being your most magnetic self is how you're going to attract all the things. And I so can resonate. And I think it's absolutely beautiful that we don't have to
Yes.
try harder, right? We just
Yes.
have to be.
Just be and allow.
Just be and allow and
Just
receive,
be and
right?
allow. Absolutely. So
Thank you so much.
in that phase, they learn everything. So I just want to say thank you
I
for
did
allowing
drop
me to.
your links. Yes.
Yes, thank you. I see that you dropped it in there. And I
Yes.
just would like to let the ladies know that if they would like to get the Feminine Woman's Attraction book, it's in the link in the bio at Instagram or
Perfect. If you'd
TikTok.
like to drop it on the comments here too, that'd be lovely
Yeah.
because I didn't have a link for it, but I dropped
Okay.
the idea of
Yeah.
it.
Yes, it's in the link in my bio at the Silent Feminine Flame, whether you go on TikTok or Instagram. And also, I have a workshop coming up. The end of this month is how to manifest your love, your mate in 30 days. If anyone is interested in
Amazing.
that, so I
Those are
do
beautiful
appreciate it.
resources. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Coach Albany. It was lovely
You're
having you.
welcome. Yes, I appreciate. I had so much fun.
Yes, you shared a lot of great knowledge. Thank you. And now we have another special guest coming in. I really loved Albany's speech. That was so beautiful. What did I tell you? These women, they have done all the things and they're still here and they're being vulnerable and they're sharing with you their stories because they know it's going to create impact in other people's lives. And now here I have Joanne. She is a love by design dating coach and human design specialist who helps high achieving women transform heartbreak into conscious love by dating from their authentic blueprint, not social conditioning. Wow. Okay. Excited to have her on. Hi, Joanne.
Hi.
How are
Thanks,
you
Terrence.
doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here today.
Good. Really excited to have you, and I can't wait to hear you share more on this topic.
Yes, it's very exciting. So I am going to share, hopefully, just make sure I have the right screen. Okay, so welcome everyone. My talk is going to be quick. And so it's just everything that Coach Abby has been saying and then some. And she mentioned some tools to help you get through. And that is my jam. I believe that your heartbreak is actually your breakthrough. So I'm going to be sharing with you today 3 steps to your soul aligned love. So before I jump into some of the steps, let me tell you a little bit about my journey. So about 6 years ago, I was sitting in a hospital in the middle of winter at 2 a.m. in the morning, and it wasn't for good news. I was pregnant. I was 10 weeks pregnant through IVF, I might mention. And this was my last chance. For me, this is how he's finally going to choose me. This is how I get to be the woman that stays with him forever. And so I'm here in this hospital because I woke up in the middle of the night because I could feel something within me wasn't right, dragged myself to the hospital alone, and I'm sitting there waiting. And then it hit me. Here I am yet again alone in the hospital. But I thought, okay, maybe Joan, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe he will come. And so I started to call him. So I called, it rang, didn't answer. I sent him a message saying, hey, I'm in the hospital. I think there's something wrong with the babies. There were 2. Can you just come? I need your support. Zilch. He never responded. He never called. And I had to go through that experience of being told that the babies were gone and I had to have an evacuation. Well, that was my lowest of my low. And at that point was when I said, never again. Like, this cannot be all about these men. There has to be something that was going on that kept attracting these people. And this time it has to be different. This was my lowest of the low, but it was also my breakthrough. So in my journey of relationships, I've been through 8 engagements, 8 different men, not the same man, 8 different heartbreaks, 8 different versions of me, one divorce, all trying to get me my ideal partner. And still, nothing seemed to work. So, a little bit about me. So, my name is Joan Osu, based out here in Toronto, Canada. I'm a human design dating coach, and I help high achieving women who are done with shrinking themselves find their soul aligned partner. Just not just any partner, but their soul aligned partner. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some of the quick ways that you can start to align yourself so that you too can attract your aligned partner. So here are some of my lessons from the 8 engagements and going through performed love, because that's exactly what it was. And some of this might sound familiar or they might resonate with you, but this was my own experience. So the first thing that I kept doing in all my relationships was shrinking myself to fit their comfort zone. How many of you high achieving women can relate to this? I remember one of the men that I was dating, and he said to me, John, why you're too ambitious? Like, why are you too much? Why are you always trying to do more, be more? What are you striving for? Why can't you just be content? Don't you know that this attitude is intimidating? And so I thought, well, he's got to be right. There must be something that I'm putting out. So I started shrinking myself. I started playing small. I started not talking about my wins. I wasn't talking about my ambitions. I just shrunk myself until I didn't recognize myself anymore. Or maybe you understand the second one. This is given from depletion rather than overflow. I was always the one trying to push the relationship forward. Look, I went through IVF all by myself, paid for, suffered the whole thing by myself because I kept trying to win this relationship. I kept trying to be the chosen one. So I was constantly planning. I was initiating. I was giving away, spending time, spending my money. I just thought maybe if I just loved harder, if I gave more, if I tried, then finally he will see my worth and he will choose me. Didn't quite work. Or maybe this one where you're constantly ignoring your inner knowing. And a lot of us, we have that gut feeling with inside of us that screams, run. But we're like, oh, no, maybe it's the butterflies. Maybe I can win him over. Maybe I can change him. Maybe. And so we keep ignoring all the signals inside of us that's telling us what we need to do. That was me. I overlooked everything. I focused on, but I can see his potential. I know this can be great, if only. And the more I tried, the more things did not work out. So here's what was happening. I was dating for my wounds, not my wholeness. And this goes way back to my daddy issues. And one thing we know about wounds, well, they attract more wounds. So it just never works. And so my heartbreaks, 8 of them, became my wake-up call. And maybe that can be your wake-up call. I know it hurts. I know we want to stay in victim mode and blame and say, but. But if you look at it, that the past relationships, the past what society calls failures, were not failures. They were lessons. They were your activation to rise up to the truth of who you are, what you want, and what you're really here to experience. If you think of relationships, I like to think of them as mirrors on your journey. They keep showing you where you are every step of the way. So you can just take a look at the mirror and be like, okay, no, not you. Moving on to the next one. And it doesn't mean just keep jumping from relation to relationships, but it's about looking back at what it is that you're going through and knowing that it is helping move you forward to where you're meant to be. And then when we start to choose the relationships that we get into, we focused on superficial things. Dating apps don't help either. So it's all about, oh, what does society want me to want? What do my parents want me to want? What does my upbringing say is right for me? And all of those things may not necessarily be the truth for you. But one thing that doesn't lie is energy. Energy never lies. Energy is always right. And that's where this whole idea about your unique design comes into play. Because the truth is, we're all uniquely different. We all want different things out of love. We all give and receive love quite differently. What we are looking for in an aligned partner is not necessarily the same. So no one can really dictate to us who we desire or who we are meant to be. The goal is to find what you desire in this world for you, what works for you. And that is where your unique blueprint comes into play. What do you really, really want? Who is the right partner for you? And your human design can answer all of those questions. So, a little bit about human design, if you've never heard about it. Human design is basically your energetic blueprint. It's the same from the day you're born until the day that you exit this experience. Your human design is always the same. It's the highest potential of who you can be. It is how you're energetically designed to go through life. Ra said, and today I'm going to be focusing on what I call your costume, which is your profile. And Ra says that this is your geometry. What kind of costume are you going to be comfortable with? By understanding the nature of your costume, you get to see over time how you begin to fit into it, because being more of that means you are more correct. We go through life wearing different costumes that were given to us by God knows who, and we're trying to make it fit, and we're showing up, and we're like, oh, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then you attract only the wrong partners. So understanding your profile, which is your costume, is the first key if you want to be able to start attracting the people that are right for you. So, like I mentioned, human design is actually a very complex system, but the profile, which is your costume, is a good starting point, because this is what you're broadcasting to the world. This is what people see when they come in contact with you. So, if you're wearing the wrong costume, like I said, guess what? You're only going to attract the wrong people. And again, when you're in the shadow, so meaning that you're in the low vibration of your costume, think of it as it's torn or it's stained or it's ripped. Well, people are going to be like, oh, I don't want that. Oh, okay, that's broken. They're just going to feel it energetically, and you're still going to keep attracting the wrong people. But the moment you understand your costume, your profile, and you embody it fully, you will find that you become more magnetic to the people that are right for you. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you really want at a soul level? Not the conditioning of the world who tells us this is tall, dark, and handsome, super ambitious alpha male is the man for you. No, not the unhealed part of you that is still holding on to the bitterness. He did this to me. They did this. They did not do this. No, not what society or social media tells us, couple goals, this is what relationships should be. No, I want you to get down to the bottom of who you truly are and what you truly want. And if you've dated that ambitious alpha male and it didn't work, well, you know. Or maybe it's the one, the rich, successful guy, okay, money buys, whatever. You'd also know that that also doesn't work for everybody. Or a total package. That was the man I married. He looked great on paper. I was like, okay, this has got to be perfect. It still wasn't perfect for me. And we see this all the time. People who we think that, come on, this is power couple, like, come on. You find that they still feel hollow, they feel empty, they feel this is not really right for me. And they walk away from those relationships. So it's not about following the costume that is designed by the world. It's about you identifying your own unique costume and wearing it correctly, flaws and all, to be able to attract your aligned partner. Okay, I see some comment I'm seeing a comment, but I'll answer that in a minute. Okay, so I want to run through the 3-step path to your aligned love. The first thing, as you can imagine, is discover your dating archetype. That is your costume. This is what you're constantly broadcasting to the world, whether you know it, whether you don't know it. You want to be in the higher frequency, because the shadow side, it's also showing up, but not in the right way. So you attract the wrong person. So there are 12 unique archetypes, and they're completely different for different people. It tells you your dating timeline, when you will meet the right person, the kind of person you're attracted to, how you should show up. It even tells you what kind of environments you need to be in to be able to have that kind of connection that you're looking for in your partnership. The second step will be to embody this. So you've got the costume now you got to put it on, and you have to do it in the highest frequency. Like I mentioned, if you're in the shadow, it still doesn't work. Once you understand your energetic blueprint, you can now show up, because you're like, oh, this is me. Like, finally, why? I've been hiding, I've been shrinking, I've been told that I'm too much, I'm not good enough, I'm that, I need to be more feminine, I need to be more subtle, I need to be XYZ. No, it's not the same for every single person. Now you can really embody your own frequency, your own costume, and date the right way. And third, you want to date by your design. You want to focus on, this is who I really am. This is my strategy. This is my authority. This is how I make decisions. This is what lights me up. This is how I get that inner knowing. You want to approach dating from that true, authentic version of you, not this societal, wishy washy, superficial, cookie cutter approach that we see all the time. And when you start to embody this, you will meet from the being. So the being is being in the highest frequency of your human design. The doing is the embodiment and taking the aligned actions. And only then will you be able to attract the love that you truly want. And here, I'm not going to go into the pyramid today, but I do have the pyramid because it shows you the 3 levels of attraction. So we have chemistry, as you can imagine. That's just that initial spark, that chemistry. You're like, oh my God, where have you been since sliced bread? You're the best thing ever. But that fizzles away over time. Then you have the compatibility, where now you have similar values, you have similar life goals, you can live a harmonious life. This is where a lot of people get married. But that's not where it ends. So you can have the chemistry, have the compatibility, but there's still a higher level, which is the conscious alignment. This is where life goals actually meet. Because you have a lot of people who, yes, the chemistry might be there. Yes, they might be compatible. But after 7 or 10 years, it's like, I don't think this is working anymore. I'm moving in a different direction. That's because the conscious alignment is not there. So going through my process and my framework and my program, which is based on human design, you get to have all. You get to have that soul aligned partner. And for me, that encompasses the chemistry, the compatibility, and the conscious alignment. So for me, human design is the way. I was a regular dating coach a few years ago, and I was just dishing out the same advice. I thought that every woman wanted the same thing. I thought that every woman could show up exactly the same way. And some of those tips work, to be honest. It can get you dates. It can even get you engaged. Like I was getting engaged like anything. But at the end of the day, it was like, this doesn't really feel right. The peace wasn't really coming. There was still so many challenges. It was still a struggle. I was like, okay, love doesn't have to be a struggle. Love has to be like you coming home to you, to your authentic self, and to your own aligned partner. So here's my invitation for you today. Discover your design. Once you discover your design and you embody it, that is the only time that you can attract your aligned partner. I've seen this over and over again. People go 5 years, 10 years, and it's like, here we go again. Or for people who keep having situationships, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and they're like, I thought he was the one. Rather than trying to find and keep dating, this is about you returning to the truth of who you are. Once you're able to do that, you will see that the other steps start to fall into place quite naturally and quite effortlessly. So you're no longer just swiping on the dating apps like, okay, going on 1,000 dates. Now you're in alignment with yourself. Now you can attract from that level and attract the love that is truly for you. So if you've been through a heartbreak, if you've been through a divorce, if you're thinking, okay, there are no men out there, all the good men are taken, not true. This is your awakening. This is your wake-up call saying, now it's time for you to return to yourself so that you can choose you first, and then you can attract your aligned partner. And so what I'm sharing with you today, what I'm giving you all today is your free dating archetype, that costume. I want you to get curious about, who am I really? How do I show up? How do other people see me? And once you read your report, it's always a recognition. It's always a resonance. It's always like, damn, this is me. Like no one has ever seen me this way. And that is your permission to step into the truth of who you are. So in addition to the report, you also get a 5-part private podcast that I recorded. And that starts you on your own journey so that you can start to understand, what is this human design? Human design is for every area of life. But I found that human design works perfectly for love too. So you have a 5-part series that you can go through and you can start to understand your design. You have your initial report, which is the dating archetype. It's 10, 12 pages. You can read about yourself, your type, how you love, who you love, where you love, all of those great things so that you can stop settling. You can stop struggling. You can stop trying every single therapy out there, doing EFT, doing everything, trying to figure out, who am I, who am I, who am I, do this, do that. We're done with the cookie cutter. This is about you, the truth of who you are, and the steps that you need for you, that works for you by your design, to be able to move forward in confidence and attract the partner that is truly designed for you. So I'm just going to leave this on the screen. This is the QR code. You can scan it, get access to the podcast, you get access to your dating archetype, your costume, and dive in, start reading it, let it start to rewire you so that you can come home to who you are, and that you can attract your aligned love. Okay, well, that's really all I have for you in terms of my talk, but I'm just going to look at the comments and just see what questions I can answer.
That was lovely, Joanne. Thank you so much. And yes, let's see the comments.
Yeah, so very quickly. So Myers-Briggs, as well as a lot of all this personality tests, really require your input. So they ask you questions. And the truth is, we have an idealistic version of who we are. We see it on the dating apps. People put, so this, and so they're none of those things. They think they are, they hope they're that, but they're not really that. So when you get your Myers-Briggs, if you haven't answered it in true authenticity, you will get a wonky result. So yes, for those who are able to answer it correctly, yes, you might get some things about your personality side, but human design covers both. So it's not just your personality, your behaviors, it's more your energetics as well. So it's big. It's not a personality test. It has all of those and then some. Such an idea for a dating app. Oh my God. That's awesome. Great idea.
I love that.
Human design, a couple of years, and I agree. Yes, human design is really, I think human design is the missing piece to everything in our lives, because we're moving into a world where it's no longer about the guru. It's no longer about the person telling us, do this, do that. We need to start listening to ourselves and doing what is right for us. Because we know when we hear some advice, we're like, doesn't really trust it. That is a part of your human design that's telling you it's either a yes or a no. And this is your blueprint. This is for you so that you can start making the right decisions for you.
I love that so much, Joanne. You've brought up some really valuable points about being in your own authenticity and not, what society wants us to be, because otherwise we're just going to stay boxed, right? And we're not going to be truly fulfilled in our relationships and our life and our business, everything.
Everything, yes. We end up being like minions. We all look the same, act the same, behave the same.
And then no one's happy.
Like, we're
Yes.
all empty. We're not happy. We're not happy.
Exactly.
Right? We live in a world where people celebrated the number of years that you've been married. But the research shows 95% of married people are unhappy, but they're together.
That's a lot. That's a big percentage. Something's wrong.
Something's definitely wrong with the system. The system is broken, and it's time to
It
do it
is.
differently.
We need more human design women like Joanne to help us navigate that, because that is not good.
95%, yes, it's very scary.
Well, thank you so much, Joanne. I will drop your links on the chat here. And if you have any other links you wanted to drop, please do so. We want to have all the resources and connect with you as much as we all can.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It was lovely being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
And now we have Sarai joining us, and she will be sharing her message here. I will pop her in now. Hi, love.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Good. So excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. First of all, big thank you for all of your emails and everything you send to keep everybody on track. It was so helpful.
Oh my goodness. I felt bad. I felt like I was bombarding everyone.
Oh, it was so needed because we have all the things, right? We have
I'm sure there was a lot of questions.
No, but it was perfect. I love it. I love the alignment, the workbook, and like the organization because it really helped me out. So that was
Oh,
so
good. I'm so glad you made it
how
on.
invested you are, which we love. You want to make sure like the time that we spend to hear and listen and learn is always just well thought out. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And I'm really glad you made it on. And I'm excited to introduce you to everybody. Sarai is a resilient and result driven wellness advocate and retail executive based in New York City. So tell us more. We want to hear it all.
Yeah, I am in New York. If anyone's in New York, say hi. We can connect, do some coffee dates, tea dates, or yoga class. I'm huge on that. And I really just kind of started in the world of fashion, luxury, retail, and fashion about like 20 plus years ago. And working in that industry, I think, has really taught me a lot about myself, who I am meant to be, and also showed me things that I did not really like about myself. And then through many different levels of self exploration and discovery and trials and errors, you realize it's just you conditioning, and you conditioning to outside factors. And to kind of piggyback on Joanne, it's not you being really authentically you, you know? So I do feel like there's a lot of women, men, however you identify, I do think there's quite a bit of sometimes you're just that inner internal dialogue, that inner confusion on how you want to be perceived and how you perceive yourself versus how everyone's looking at you. I remember for so many years, people would say to me, you know, really complimentary things. And I never looked at it that way. I never was able to receive the compliment. And I think for women, sometimes it's so hard, right? You can never really receive the compliment. And I think that's something we need to shift, right? And it's just welcome in the compliment, give the compliment and take it in and really put ourselves in a higher kind of pedestal than we normally do. Um, so that's kind of something I kind of wanted to focus on today was everybody has their why, or they think they have their why, or they're doing all these things to get to the why, but no one really talks about how and how you get there. Because I would always listen to people or see people speaking on in seminars and all these things, or executives and all that, and I would just think to myself, well, how did you get there? Like, what did you do? What are the things that you did? And then you hear people saying, oh, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I make my bed and I do all these things, you know, before 6 a.m. and I've already won the day. And while that can be true, it's not for everybody. So I would always say, I'm like, well, I tried it. I tried waking up at 4 a.m. all the time and I was miserable. So maybe that's not for me. And I'm going to backtrack there because I think what happens is we tend to obviously listen to the mentors and people that have done it by experience and shown success, and think that if we don't do it that way, we're a failure or we're not doing it the right way. And that's kind of the conversation I want to like unlift the lid, if you will say, about it, because I do think success shows up in different ways, and it's how your perspective and how you categorize it and what you do. So I'm really always focusing on the how and how to share it with people on what do you need to do on a daily basis to ensure that at the end of the day, you have a business, you're successful at that, you're a successful wife, a mother, all the things, a daughter, all the things, you know, that you check off the list. Are you really fulfilled? Right? Like, are you fulfilled at the end of the day? If you take out all those labels, are you truly happy? How do you even find that out? Right? And I think it's really creating a foundation for yourself, right? You may want to wake up at 4 a.m., you may not want to wake up at 4 a.m., but really starting to journal to yourself, write love letters to yourself, which is a huge thing. I would have a love letter journal to myself, and I would talk to myself in third person and say, like, Dear Sarai, you are so amazing. Do you remember when you would write love letters to, maybe not write, but like you would think these amazing things about somebody, like the guy you were with, like, he's just so amazing, even though he was so not. And you like put them on a pedestal. That, do the reverse for you and do it to yourself. And I'm telling you, that will completely help transform and really shift and help rewire how you think about yourself, who you are, without wearing all those hats of entrepreneur, businesswoman, you know, wife, mother, all the things. I do agree with waking up before everybody else so that you have that time for yourself, because that is important. And that's the kind of the how, and how you really set yourself up for success is to really take care of you first. They always say, like, on an airplane, if you put the oxygen mask on first before your kids and everyone else, and while you think it's selfish, it's not, right? You have to take care of you before you can take care of everybody else. So that was really kind of where I want to go with this conversation. I will give a couple of examples about it and how I came to this. Like I said, working in this industry, I would really hear a lot of great things, and I would also hear a lot of negative things about myself. And I grew up in a very uh pretty challenging childhood and teenage years, and coming from a very intense abusive first relationship that was very long. And through all of those experiences, in the moment, while I hated it, and I was very like, why me, I realized now that it did serve its purpose. And it served its purpose because now I can look back on the perspective and show the strength that I didn't realize that I had, but also the vulnerability that I had in a way, which is another key point that I also want to bring up with women. It's okay to be vulnerable. I don't think we really give ourselves the grace to be vulnerable. Um, so those are kind of my 2 points here: being vulnerable, giving yourself the grace, giving yourself the time as well, more than 2 points. But yeah, those are kind of where I'm going. I do want to check and see if there's any, I'm on my phone, so I want to see if there's any comments or anything like that. Writing love letters, perfect. Awesome. The trauma. So from there, I will share a couple of practices that I do: the love letters, the journaling, writing it to yourself. Another big thing that has worked for me, for an example, is if you ever look at somebody and they say, look at all the traits of somebody else that you admire, right? And it's like, I think there's a saying where it's like, you see that in somebody else because there's a part of it in you, or it's something that you're missing, so you're attracted to that, right? That to me is twofold. So I had this one exercise given to me, and now I kind of share it with other people. Think about 4 people in your life, and the 4 people that you think about, write down 2 of the characteristics, or 3 of the characteristics that you really love about them. Like, why do you admire them so much? Why are they in your life? Right? Maybe because this person just always has it together. Maybe this person is just really smart in certain things. Maybe this person is really disciplined in working out. Maybe this person is, just very, just knows how to deal with hectic situations in a very nice, comfortable, like, or, calm way. If you write those 4 people out, and you write just the characteristics and adjectives out of what beautiful, this, all the things, when you look at that, you'll see a thread, a combination of things that they all have in common. Maybe 2 or 3 things, right? That they all have in common. Those 2 or 3 things that you admire so much in somebody else are really 2 to 3 things that you have within yourself. So that's what's attracting you to them, right? You admire them sometimes maybe more than you admire yourself. Not saying that for everybody, right? Because I feel like we've all kind of done the work, but it's doing the work is an everyday constant thing. But that exercise there is something that I always give to people when I do like business consulting and business coaching, because I will say, do it with companies and small businesses that you know, or do it with coaches or mentors and entrepreneurs that you know. Write out all the characteristics and then circle what the theme is, or the couple of themes, and then you in turn, that's what you have in yourself, and that's what you have within your business. So that's another reflection in how to also make sure you're setting up yourself mentally for success, and also making sure that you don't take away from you, because I do feel like we give so much compliments to other people. We put people on pedestals and all this because of titles and labels and all of that, and we don't really do it enough to ourselves. So that's another exercise that I wanted to share as well. And the other thing as well, as far as, you have to kind of look at yourself as someone that, the vulnerability part, someone that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have a moment of emotions and having to cry every now and then, even if you have to step into this role in 10 minutes and give a meeting. Like, no one knows where I was just 20 minutes ago. Do you know what I mean? Or what was going on. So we wear all these hats. So a huge thing for me in how do you give yourself more vulnerability, right? How do you give yourself more grace as a woman? And it's really just connecting back to yourself. You have that inner voice inside of you that sometimes gets so muffled, because of all the outside noise and all the responsibility. So taking the time with the meditation is a huge, huge, huge component, that I say, if you can get it in anywhere, if in 10 minutes in a shower, if you can do like a water meditation, that a flowing meditation, that is lovely. If you can do, just in your backyard, a walking meditation, that is also something, because in the end, you really have it within you, the how, into making sure that you have the time, you have the mental space for you, because you at the end of the day are more important than anyone else. Um, Even more important than your kids. And I think that's something we don't share. You have to be more important than your kids, because it was you first. Yes, we have take on these roles of nurturing and parenting everybody, but who's going to take care of you in the end, right? You need to make sure that you are taken care of and that you choose you before anyone else. So that's kind of what I wanted to come in here and share with you all. I'm just going to look at the chat again and see if there is anything else. Oh, yeah, your mom can't pour from an empty cup. For sure. And again, it's so easy and great to say as we talk and we took this time and things like that, but it's like, how do you keep your cup full, right? And that's the other thing too, where it's like you do all the things, right? Okay, so we're doing the meditation, we're doing the journaling, and I feel like we do and we do the things, but the another component of that is stepping back from it and also seeing what you've done, right? So I used to journal. I mean, I still journal, but I would journal for about 3 months, and then I would take that journal, and then I would go back 3 months later, and I would read from what I started, the 3 months, and then I would do it for 6 months, and then 9 months, and then 12 months, and it's wild to see how much you've accomplished within 3 to 6 to 9 months if you do those small daily things, right? And I think that's another part where perspective, going back to it, because you're just doing, and we're doing the things to keep us all good, but sometimes we're not really feeling it, and we're like, oh, is it really working? I'm having a day, I'm having a moment, did it really work? Did all the meditation work? Did all the things work? And sometimes we don't always see it because we don't feel it. A huge thing that has helped me is to look back 3 months before and say, wow, I did all these things, or wow, I said I wanted to do this, but I actually wasn't able to fit it in. But maybe because I've done all these other things, I can now fit this thing in right 3 months later. So it's a really good accountability kind of checklist for yourself, and it's personal to you. You don't have to share with anybody else. Keep it to you and keep your goals, and I'm very sacred with that. There's a lot that I like to share, but there's a lot that I keep sacred to me. And I just know in the feeling, like when it's the right time to share it with my partner, to share it with my family, to share it with whoever else, that's a huge other component as well. Because that intimacy of loving what you write down and your ideas and dreams and goals and the fun things, like, keep it for you, keep it sacred. And then as you move through, then you'll feel comfortable, not comfortable, but then you'll feel like, you know what, I can share this without the energies kind of, other energies absorbing it in a negative way. That was the other thing. And I know that I have a few more minutes, but I did also want to say something else when it comes to the how and the why and the passions. Oh, are we wrapping up?
Oh, no, that's okay. I think you were wrapping up anyways, right?
Yeah. I was going to
Yeah,
say,
go ahead.
let me know if I have time to say one more thing.
Oh, no, go ahead and finish your last thought. We
Yeah.
want you to hear it.
The other one was, you have to try different things to know what your passions are. Like I hate this, like, oh well, just do what you love and you're passionate about and you'll be a multimillionaire. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to try multiple different things to figure out what's going to work for you and what's going to draw you back in. Will not identify as a coach because I just am not a coach. I'm a consultant. on many things. I'm a wellness advocate on many things, but I'm not here to coach somebody on how to live a better life. I'm here to give examples and tools to help you do what you need to do. However, with that being said, is that I just don't think having the one passion and forcing it is always the way to go. Try different things. You're never going to know. I always say this. I don't know what I necessarily want all the time, but I will know what I don't want based on these scenarios. And it's because I've gotten experience through here, here, and here to say, that's not for me. That's not for me. I'll hear you out. It may or may not be for me. And with that, also hearing out the experiences and opportunities from somebody else, which I kind of take this quote loosely for Sarah Blakely. She's always said, just because an opportunity is not for you does not mean that it's not for somebody else. So take it, listen to it, and then think about maybe this is for somebody else that you could pass it on to. And that's kind of passing the torch, and like sharing it, because meeting Jen, there's could be another opportunity coming up that I could pass on to somebody else, like being in the book and things like that. So those are kind of a few of my tips for the how, especially the quadrant one. The journal, love letters to yourself, keeping things sacred, trying different things, and keeping that to yourself too. I've taken a dance class, like a ballroom dancing class that no one knew about, and it was just for me. And then like a year later, I told people, they're like, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." But if I had told you that then, you'd be like, and then you might get talked out of it. But yeah, those are kind of my moments. And try it, and your passions will come. And also with that, money does make you happy. It really does. It just amplifies like kind of who you are. I love it. I work very hard to acquire things that I want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't identify me. I'm not identified by how much money I make or the title that I carry. And I think that's where sometimes people say, well, money doesn't make you happy. And I'm like, well, you don't have it. So that's why you're probably saying it to a degree. Or you haven't, or you have so much of it so that you can say it. You know what I mean? So there's my 15 minutes for you. Are there any
Yes,
questions?
I really appreciated this. This was really good, Sarah, and I agree 100%. Thank you so much, Sarah. Sarah, it was so good having you, and you shared a lot of wisdom with us, and we cannot wait. I will drop your links here in the comments. And if you want to
Perfect.
drop any too, please go ahead and do so.
Yes, I'll put my Instagram. Just DM me and my info
Thank
for sure.
you. Amazing. Well, that was really beautiful. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to that. We'll go ahead and do one more, and then maybe we can take a little mini break. We've all been tuning in, listening in, engaging. It's been really meaningful. So thank you all for doing that. Keep bringing your questions in and your comments. I love seeing your feedback. For those of you who tuned in later, I actually would love to know, where are you tuning in from? I know at the beginning we started and we got to hear where everyone was from, but I think we have new faces here tuning in, and would love to hear where everyone's tuning in from. I'm currently in Vancouver, Washington. I'm traveling, and then who knows where I'll go after this. I go where the wind takes me. And I'm seeing the comments. Washington State, Ebony, yes, you're in the Spokane area side, right? That's on the whole other side of the state. Perla, I know Perla is in Phoenix, right? Alyssa is in Las Vegas. Amazing. And Alyssa, are you still do you want to speak? Because I was about to play your video. Rashika, New Jersey, New Brunswick, Canada. Ooh. Yes, Ebony, I would love to go see you in Spokane. Love it. Love to see everyone tuning in from different parts of the world. I think our Canada friends really enjoy being in our space too, which is lovely. And with that being said, I'll go ahead and start the video. I think Alyssa is on, but she sent us a recording, so we'll play her recording, right? Unless you want to hop on, Alyssa. Perla's in Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, lots of cool places. And Perla and I actually will be hosting a in-person expo in November in Phoenix, but we will drop that details for that soon. All right, I'll go ahead and introduce Alyssa here.
Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here.
Give me a sec. Alyssa is a late diagnosed autistic and ADHD speech language pathologist, autism spectrum disorder clinical specialist, and the creator of Speech Works by Alyssa, a global coaching program helping parents of nonverbal and speech delayed children teach their kids to talk, thrive, and live independently. Love that. Excited to hear your talk. Here we are.
Here with so many powerful women. My name is Elissa Armandel. I'm a speech language pathologist, autism specialist, and a late diagnosed autistic ADHD adult. For over 30 years, I've worked with children once labeled nonverbal, helping them find their voices and live independently. The title of my talk is Unmasked and Unstoppable, from private practice to a global coaching revolution. And that's exactly what this is, a story about stepping out from behind the mask, refusing to accept limits, and turning a calling into a global movement. Today I want to share not just my story, but a reminder that the power to create change, to build revolutions, and to transform lives is already within you. Your child will never talk. Those are the words families with non-speaking autistic children have heard sometimes for years before they eventually find me. They typically have heard these words from doctors, neurologists, and so many other professionals. So when they finally sit down with me, they already know my reputation. They've heard the stories of children who hadn't spoke a word for years, suddenly finding their voices and thriving. They've come to me because they believe I can make the impossible happen. But even with that hope in their hearts, nothing prepares them for the moment I look them straight in the eyes and say, your child can talk. Tears come, tears of joy, relief, and the overwhelming feeling that somebody finally believes in their child. And when communication begins to flow, it doesn't just change how a child speaks, it changes how they learn, connect, and often how they can live independently and thrive. I was a late talker myself. My earliest memory is from kindergarten, playing house with other kids, but I couldn't be the mom or play the role of a sister. I could only be the dog that barks or the baby that cries, because those roles didn't require talking. I was also selectively mute, and while I'm grateful that I had teachers who pushed me to socialize with my peers, it never came naturally. I grew up knowing I was different, but not knowing why. I struggled to understand others, to organize my thoughts, to fit into a world that seemed to have a secret rule book I didn't get to read. I was born with an immune deficiency where any stress would cause my body to shut down. I also had a reading deficit and dyslexia, making school a constant uphill battle. When I was younger and not diagnosed, I had accommodated myself all throughout childhood and my teenage years. For example, at age 16, while my peers were getting after-school jobs to buy cars and go out with friends, I was working to pay for tutors and people to read to me. I used every strength I had to work around my weaknesses without even knowing that's what I was doing. After high school, I knew my verbal skills were not my strengths, so I started looking for a career where I could work without relying heavily on verbal communication. I even applied to Barnum and Bailey's clown school, thinking I could mime my way to success. Fortunately, my family persuaded me not to become a clown, fearing I'd marry a clown, have clown babies, and pet elephants. So instead, I enrolled in a local community college and signed up for American Sign Language classes. I excelled tremendously and asked my professor what was a lucrative career I could combine sign language with, and they immediately steered me towards speech language pathology. I took my first class and the professor had us plug our noses and directed us to say the sound. Of course, you can't say it because the air flows through the nose. That was the moment that hooked me. I wanted to know everything about how muscles coordinate to produce speech. I went on to earn multiple degrees and eventually found myself working towards my third master's degree at Gallaudet University, the world's only deaf college. Hearing graduates, students could attend if they wanted to specialize in working with the deaf and hard of hearing. It was at Gallaudet that I was finally diagnosed with a learning disability, ADHD, and Asperger's syndrome, now considered autism. I received this diagnosis at age 28, earlier than most women my age, because the faculty there at Gallaudet were so attuned to learning differences. You see, I was excelling in the speech clinic. My clients were making incredible progress, yet I was failing academically and was at risk of being expelled. At a meeting to decide my future and fate, the clinical staff argued with the academic staff. She teaches like she wrote the books. Why isn't she reading the books? That's when I was sent to the Mental Health Center for neuropsychological testing. I was diagnosed in the 90s. There were no supports, no communities, and no resources for adults. I finally had a label, but no guidance. It wasn't until my early 50s that I truly began to understand how deeply neurodivergence had shaped my life. The anxiety, depression, and burnout I lived through weren't random. They were the cost of masking. Masking means hiding your true self in order to appear normal, copying behaviors, expressions, and communication styles to fit in, even when it's exhausting and unnatural. For years, I pushed myself to act like everyone else at the expense of my mental health. And I made myself a promise. No child should grow up feeling unsupported or unseen the way I did. I'm proud to be a speech language pathologist and an autism spectrum disorder clinical specialist who has been searching out the most progressive techniques for over 30 years, not only for my clients, but also for myself. My specialty is in motor planning disorders and auditory processing disorders. I don't just teach words, though. I teach muscle coordination. Muscles for speech, breathing, vocal cord vibration, the soft palate, the lip, the jaw, and the tongue. Speech requires these 6 specific muscle groups to work together in perfect combination and coordination to be able to talk. Typical children develop coordination of all these muscles naturally through auditory feedback. They hear themselves speak, they notice what sounds were correct or incorrect, and they adjust the muscles accordingly. But many neurodivergent children, especially those with autism, apraxia, and auditory processing challenges, don't learn this way. They often need physical prompts, tactile or kinesthetic cues, and visual models to help the brain and muscles work together for speech. And I don't stop just at speech. If it requires a muscle to move, I'll teach it. That includes reading, writing, brushing teeth, eating, dressing, toileting, teaching piano, and even long-term vocational skills for independence. This isn't just about talking, it's about building the skills a child needs to live, connect, and grow with confidence. Over and over, parents I work with say to me, it would be a travesty if you left this earth without more families knowing your approach. They want parents around the world to have hope, tools, and the progress they were told didn't exist. I knew that if I could teach one parent in my private practice, I could teach thousands, maybe even millions. That's why I took my work from private practice to a global coaching revolution called SpeechWorks by Alyssa. Inside my parent membership portal, families get step-by-step courses, weekly live coaching, principal activities, reward charts, powerful ebooks, even advocacy guidance, and so much more. This isn't just a program, it's a movement for families who were told their child would never talk or thrive. And that's where ClickFunnels comes in. The ClickFunnels platform and the coaches who supported me there gave me the tools and accommodations I needed to turn my private practice into this global online business. They understood my learning style and helped me create a system that works with my brain, not against it. Because of my wonderful experience with ClickFunnels and the ability for me to learn how to build and market an online business, it has inspired me to build a neurodivergent marketing university. And being a cast member on the award-nominated docuseries Legacy Makers has also helped with this global transition. Legacy Makers spotlights innovators, change makers, and visionaries who are building something that will outlast them, something that leaves the world better than they found it. Being a part of Legacy Makers means I'm not just sharing my story for today, I'm planting seeds for tomorrow. To me, being a legacy means creating change that ripples through generations so that even children not yet born will have opportunities, tools, and hope because of the work we do now. That's why my mission with SpeechWorks by Alyssa is to change the global standard of care for non-speaking children so that decades from now, families around the world will never again hear the words, "Your child will never talk." And here's my message to you. You don't have to accept the limits you've been handed. Whether they came from society, your industry, or even your own past experiences, you can rewrite the story. And that's what I want for every individual listening right now, to know that the thing that makes you different might just be the thing that changes your life, the lives of others too. Because here's the truth about healing. Healing doesn't mean going back to who you were before. Healing is becoming the person you were always meant to be, without the weight of the labels, the shame, or the limits that were placed on you. For me, healing meant finally understanding my brain and my body. It meant letting go of the pressure to mask and learning how to work with my strengths instead of fighting my differences. It meant transforming pain into purpose, taking the hardest parts of my story and using them to help thousands of children and families. And for you, healing might look different. Maybe it's forgiving yourself for the years you thought you were too much or not enough. Maybe it's finally pursuing the dream you've been told is out of reach. Or maybe it's realizing that the challenges you faced aren't a detour. They're the very road that will lead you to your purpose. This summit is about empowerment. And empowerment happens when we recognize that we are not broken and we don't need to be fixed. What we need are the right tools, the right supports, and the belief that our voice matters. Don't give up when you face challenges. Persevere, adapt, use your strengths to work around your weaknesses, and never, ever accept someone else's limits as your truth. Because if a selectively mute, late-talking dyslexic kid who almost became a clown can build a global movement, so can you. So here's the moral of my story and the challenge I'll leave you with today. Take the thing you've been told is your biggest weakness and dare to see it as your greatest strength. Take the pain, the setbacks, and the doubt and turn them into something that will outlive you. That's how we heal, that's how we empower, and that's how we leave a legacy. Thank you so much for being here today and listening to my story. If you'd like to stay connected, You can follow me on Instagram at It's Elissa Renee, that's ELISSA. To learn more about my services, you can visit yourchildcantalk.com. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Whether it's for guidance, collaboration, or support, I'm here to help.
Wow, that was so beautiful, Alyssa. Thank you so much for sending your recording, and that speech was beautiful. I loved never ever accept someone else's limits as your truth. That is so powerful. And I'm still like speechless. So that's funny, right? No pun intended. um, thank you so much, lovely. That was amazing. And we do have a couple more speakers. We have Stephanie here in the backstage, and we have our recording from Stacy as well. So can't wait to share those with y'all. We can take a 5-minute break, but before we do, I would love to share some thought-provoking questions to ask you ladies. That way, when you take a break or when you come back from the break, you can give yourself some thought into these questions. So maybe for one, what does healing mean to you right now in this season of your life? I will drop them in the comments so that you can give it something to reflect on, especially as we bring some of our upcoming speakers. We have Stephanie has a really powerful speech about hitting rock bottom, and I think we all need to hear it. So here's the question in the comments. And maybe this one. If you could give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? Like your younger self. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? I've dropped that in the comments as well. And like I said, we'll give it 5 minutes. We'll come back at 11:38 and we'll start with Stephanie at 11:40. Pacific time, of course. I know we're all tuning in from different parts of the world, and I'm in Pacific time right now. Perfect. Come back soon. Okay, everybody, welcome back. I'm seeing the comments here on our last questions that I had asked. One was, what does healing mean to you in this season of your life? The other question was, if you could give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be? Don't grow up too fast. Oh, Ebony. Stephanie says, I would like my younger self to apologize early on and often and forgive more. Oh, that's so good. Jen says, don't settle just because you think this is the best I can get. It only leads to heartbreak and time lost. Oh, that is facts. Healing for me means forgiving myself for mistakes and having the courage to move forward through the analysis paralysis, not staying where it's comfortable every day. Choose to take a step forward. Yes, that is very powerful, Jen. Thanks so much for sharing that. Well, with that being said, I think it's a perfect segment into Stephanie Robinson. We'll have Stephanie on here. I will bring her on the stage, but Stephanie is a wellness entrepreneur, energy healer, and yoga teacher devoted to helping others turn their setbacks and breakdowns into breakthroughs. So let's have her on. Let's hear it from Stephanie. Hi,
Hello,
Stephanie. So glad you
everybody.
made it on.
Hi, Jen. Thank you so much for having me and putting on this event. I'm so
Of
excited
course.
to share my story with you all. And it's been beautiful to hear everybody and the interconnectedness of all of our shares and stories, right? So, very
There
grateful to
is,
be
yes.
here.
Thank you so much. I'll hop off and you can take it away.
Excellent. Well, again, hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Robinson. I'm a yoga teacher, energy healer, and coach, and I help people release old patterns, reconnect to their brilliant heart, and build a life that feels aligned using tools like Reiki, EFT tapping, meditation, breath work, journaling, all the modalities that have helped me alchemize my trauma into purpose and expansion. So, I don't know about you, but I've had a defining moment in my life, a clear line where everything changed. A bell was rung so loud and so fiercely that there was no back. It's the 25 years of my life. After my 5th birthday on June 7th, and the thick of the pandemic, 20 was admitted into a psychological will. The week leading up to that, I was waking up to an unbearable set of truths I've been searching for a really long time. And these truths, this reality, came really fast and really intense. And I felt like I finally found the missing pieces I've been looking for in all the different healing I was engaging in 6 months prior. And I wasn't ready for the tidal wave that was coming towards me. I didn't have the tools and the support to sort of integrate and stop myself from diving into the rabbit hole that is this truth. And in this darkness, I uncovered the roots of my destructive behavior as an adolescent and my distorted childhood, and how it's all manifested into my reality at the time. And it led down to a mental breakdown and ultimately a mental breakthrough. And during this time, I was dancing between chaos and clarity. And I had these deep moments of, and then it was like just mental gymnastics being shaken to my core and because of the state of the world we were in. A flawed and often dangerous mental health system where so many people are just drugged and silenced and forgotten. And I will write a whole book about that experience and all the divine alignments that landed me there and everything that I went through in that space. But today, I want to share how this turning of my world upside down became my greatest gift, and how the sweeping off my feet and dropping me into the depths of myself and how that brought me back to my true nature. And I was released on June 19th, 2020, back into the world, back into reality, a forever changed person that was deeply misunderstood. I experienced a sci-fi like experience in that hospital alone, right? And I was at the beginning of the spiral. And before that, I felt like I was at the very, very top. And instead of, this, it's interesting with this rock bottom, but I just find us in a spiral, right? We're always going back. I was, living my dream life. I thought I was a president. I had my own apartment. I was traveling the world. I was doing all sorts of anything I could get my hands on to heal and understand myself.
Uh-oh, we lost Steph there for a moment. Let's see if we can get her back on.
I don't know what just happened.
There you are.
Sorry.
I think it's your internet, maybe. Is it not? It's a little laggy, maybe?
It says it's fine. Is it okay now?
It looks better now, yes.
Okay, was it lagging throughout or was it just one
A
moment?
little bit, yeah. I mean, we could still hear, but it was lagging a bit.
Okay, so sorry. It looks totally fine on my end.
No, it's
So
okay. It happens. The technology does what it wants to do, so.
yes, but it's
But
cool now.
that's okay. Go ahead and continue, yes.
Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, I thought I was living my dream. I did accomplish my dream, and it was actually rooted in deep anxiety, depression, and it was really, really challenging time. And, but it made fun to search for meaning, for healing, and I was living this, few friends, no community, and no direction. So in the midst of all that, I did sign up for my yoga teacher training, and I got out of the hospital and thought I wouldn't be able to do it. That I could barely go to the grocery store. I was like in therapy consistently, and I just was, I didn't feel like I would be able to make it happen. And I found a lot of courage as those weeks went on, and I decided that I would be well enough to continue this training in September and start the journey. And yoga has been the golden thread of my life. It has grounded me and connected me to my body, my spirit, and my soul tribes. And the lifestyle, the philosophy has evolved my relationship with the practice. And I didn't realize how much of a foundation this would be for my life's work. And I just can't imagine if I didn't do my yoga teacher training at that time in that space with those people. And it is the domino effect of where I am today. And it has taken me 5 years to get to where I am today, completely starting over my career and doing, the simplest jobs, babysitting, dog walking, feeling like a win of an experience. I felt it was so terrifying and such a dangerous place that I was in. And I am now, running a full-blown business. I own a home and building a deep, deep faith with the divine. So today I want to share with you all 3 things that carried me through that I believe are universal for anyone's journey and what really helped me. So the first that I want to share is forgiveness. I had to forgive so many people, and mostly myself. And I had to accept and forgive my parents. I was so, so angry with my family, and I was enraged with them for their just lack of awareness and their neglect in some ways. And at the end of the day, they truly did their best, with what they had and what they could do. And I can't change it, right? But understanding that and consistently forgiving them a to prayer, uh, be and the prayer, miracle prayer, and I did it for every person that I've wronged and every person that has wronged me, over and over and over again, saying the four phrases: "I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you," for every single person, and until the heaviness started to lift from my body, and just prayed in that sense of connection and love and acceptance for my life before all of this, and just relieve myself of that pain. And the second thing that really helped me in this journey is my faith, and realizing I could not have done this healing work alone. I was powerless to my patterns and my blind spots, and I needed a higher power, a higher source to call on and trust in and be guided by. I joined a 12-step programs. I began learning A Course in Miracles. I found a spiritual teacher who spoke directly to my heart. I started studying the true teachings of Christ, rooted in love and forgiveness, and my faith and relationship with God became possible. I just dedicated myself to my faith and understanding the human psyche, and seeking out all sorts of different spiritual texts and not confining myself to one religion, one way of thinking. I brought myself to all different modalities and found such a constant. And um, it allowed me to just accept myself and therefore accept others, right? To see that we are all one, that we're all just walking each other home. And, the understanding that if you were in someone else's shoes, you would do the same thing that they would do. And so that kind of ties into, that being able to forgive people more, and just be rooted in that sense of oneness and love rather than separation and, um, evil. And then the third thing is my inner world. So I got really serious about my mind and how powerful it is, how it shapes our reality, and our minds can create, a heaven on earth here now, or a living. So respond on to respond in love, to watch where I was being negative, and seeing that my words, my thoughts, like, all mattered. They're all energetically tied and impacted my day to day, regardless if, I'm speaking poorly about someone who cut me off driving, or someone I'm talking on the phone about somebody that they don't know that I'm talking about them, but in it matters. It really does impact us. And understanding nervous system regulation, you can do all the things, but if you don't feel safe in your body, only so much healing is going to occur, is going to be available. And so I started being very serious about my breath work, my EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique, tapping techniques, which I have one for you all today. And of course, just being of service. I started teaching yoga regularly, offering people the highest service I could, being a guide, being a true teacher of this, and everything that I was learning, all giving to my students, and have continued to and work with, spirit to of the highest know that it's not coming from me, right? But merely a channel, and allow the creator to be my guide, to be my boss, so to speak. So I'll end with, this pain, our life, our experience is our greatest teacher of all. And it is we get to be our own inner guru. And being able to be aware enough to see that and act accordingly, and know that, being rooted in, I want to be in love, I want to be in peace, I want to be a beacon of light, and anything that is not that, I don't want to identify with, right? And so that is the human experience, I believe, is coming back to our true nature, which is love. So today I have a free healing kit for you all. It's a link that I will leave if it's not there. And it has a quick EFT tapping script, a guided Reiki meditation by me, as well as the meditation technique that changed my whole life. The meditation by Emily Fletcher. It took me 10 years to meditate, long to take years and years, and now it has completely changed my life, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. So I have her masterclass as well as the link for that. And you can connect with me on Instagram at Robin_daughter. And yeah, I just want to leave you all with that goodness, and please stay in touch if you are able to check them out. Thank you.
Thank you, Steph. That was lovely. It takes a lot of vulnerability, and it's really powerful to be able to take in all the lessons and really search for, what you need. And I love that you found yoga to really support that healing for you. I think that's absolutely beautiful. And definitely connect with Steph if you want to learn more about that, because a lot of us are probably on that season,
Yeah, for sure.
So,
the
yes.
spiral. Where
Yes,
are we at? Yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Really loved having you on here.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Well, that was absolutely lovely. And now we can get into Stacy, which I've had in the backstage here for a while, but it was really lovely hearing everyone speak. We have, I think, this might be our last speaker here, and then I will share some other opportunities that we have coming up. We do have some exciting opportunities to get more involved in the community and to step into your own storytelling journey. We do have some publishing opportunities, and I'd love to share those with you all and just invite you to some of the cool things that we're continuing to build. But yes, here I have Stacy S. Crawley. She is a passionate, certified transformational coach, speaker, and author of Becoming Her. Ooh, I love that. So we'll have her on and we'll listen in. She has sent us her recording.
Really quickly, have you ever looked like you had it all together on the outside, but deep down you know that you feel stuck and overwhelmed? See, you're the person that everyone comes to. You're the dependable one, the responsible one, the one that's showing up for everyone and doing all the things. But somewhere along the line, you have really felt disconnected from yourself and from God. You know that you have achieved so much in your life, but you're exhausted and you're tired and you don't know what's next. Listen, if that sounds like you're definitely in the right place. Hey there, I'm Stacy Crawley, transformational coach, speaker, and author of Becoming Her. Listen, I help faith-driven, high-achieving, faith-driven women break free from emotional cycles, reconnect with God, walk boldly in their purpose, rediscover their true identity, and become the woman that they were created to be. But before all of that, before all the speaking, the testimonies, and putting my message out into the world, I had to walk my own journey. Okay. And if you indulge me for just a moment for me to tell you my story. Listen, I'm a mom of four. And there was one particular night I was in the middle of my divorce. And when I tell you it was a very, very chaotic point in my life, I felt so low, so down, didn't know what to do next. And this particular night, I was putting my girls down for their nightly routine for bed. I brushed their teeth, helped them get into bed. We did a story time, made sure they had their pajamas on, and they were off to bed. I went to sit in my living room, and this particular night, I could not even turn the TV on. I didn't feel in my spirit that I wanted to read anything. I just wanted to sit. And as I sat there, the tears began to fall. And as the tears began to fall, I thought to myself, Lord, I did everything that I thought was right to do, but yet I am here. I feel broken. I feel rejected. I feel low. I feel depressed. But I know that there's something more in me that you want for me, but I don't know what that thing is. There's a calling on my life, but where I am, I don't feel like I know where to go from here. I felt the lowest I had ever felt in my entire life. And it was in that moment, through the tears, as I sat silently, I heard God say to me, "But daughter, why can't you see yourself the way that I see you?" Wow. That hit me really deeply because I realized something in that moment. I had built a life based on what I thought it had to be or what I had to be. The titles, the all the things, the achievements that I had achieved up until this point in my life. I thought I did everything right. But I didn't create the woman that I knew that God wanted me to be, because I didn't allow him to do what he wanted to do. I did me. I created the life. I created everything based on what I thought I was supposed to be. Okay. And that was my breaking point. But I also started to realize that I was going through a journey of becoming. Okay. That was the night that I said, no more shrinking. Okay. I don't care who it was. I was not going to allow myself to go into a room to shrink to make anybody else feel better. Okay. I was going to shine my light brightly. I was going to tell my story because I knew that there were other women that needed to hear it. There was no more crying and carrying it alone because I knew God had me, right? And I knew that he was going to bring the right people into my life that was going to help me along my journey. Okay. I needed to heal during that time. I needed to release. I needed to rediscover who I really was in God. Now, maybe you're not sitting on the sofa or a couch like this, but maybe you're in your own version of feeling stuck. Maybe you've achieved a lot. You love God. You're the strong one. But if you're being honest with yourself, you're super tired. You're disconnected. You're feeling overwhelmed. You're pouring into everyone else, but you're feeling empty on the inside. You sense God calling you to more, but you're unsure of how to step into it. Let me tell you this. You don't have to keep living in survival mode, okay? You're not broken. And I want to reassure you that you're just becoming, okay? So listen, when I finally stopped performing and putting the mask on for everyone else around me and pretending that everything was okay and I was looking good on the outside, but secretly struggling, when I stopped performing and I really started to heal myself or to start walking this healing journey rather with the Lord, excuse me, God led me through a journey. And it was a process I now walk my clients through that have allowed them to experience the breakthrough that they need in their lives so that they can become everything that they have been called to be. Okay. And it goes through every facet and portion of their lives. So when you become good, when you do the healing, when you're in a space of walking in your divine calling, everything and everyone else around you benefits from that. Okay. Your kids, your husband, whether you're single, everyone around you. will benefit. All right. So it's called the Becoming Her Journey. All right. And it's made up of 5 transformational steps. Okay. And I'm going to go through them for you. So number 1 is to acknowledge what's really going on. Now that's a big one, because I want you to stop pretending. I want you to be honest on about what's keeping you stuck. And it takes a level of vulnerability to do so. Okay. I want you to walk away, and I want you to really understand, where am I? What cycles am I constantly going through? Is it fear? Is it shame? Are there wounds from my past that are keeping me stuck? Are there limiting beliefs? Okay. I want you to know that breakthrough starts with telling the truth. Okay. So number 2, you have to heal and release. Heal and release. We go deep, okay? Because some of us have been carrying pain for years. We got to go deep, okay? Some of us have been carrying pain for years, from childhood, relationships, divorce, rejection, whatever that may be. And God is saying to you, you don't have to carry that alone. You don't have to carry it anymore, okay? This is where we release it and we finally allow space to breathe again, okay? Number 3, reconnect with God and rediscover who you are. You were never meant to do life without God, period. But sometimes we lose ourselves in our roles that we have: mother, wife, auntie, employee, business owner, all the things, right? We lose ourselves, our true selves. We have expectations of ourselves, okay, which contributes to the noise, okay? So this step brings you back to him and to you. You begin to love the woman that he created again, and you start to see yourself through his lens, because he said that you are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are the salt of the earth, okay? And when you start to see yourself that way, you start to build a level of confidence in what God has already purposed in you, what he has already created in you, what he has already called you to be and to do, okay? Number 4 is to set boundaries and own your voice. Now, this is a big one. You cannot keep saying yes to people, places, things that drain you and expect you to feel whole. You can't pour from an empty cup. It's impossible. You have to go to a place where you have to recharge yourself, so that when you're pouring from your overflow, and you're not giving everyone the last bit of you, okay? We talk about how to say no without guilt. We have to talk about that, okay? We have to set boundaries that protect our peace, and we have to speak up without shrinking, okay? And number 5, you have to walk boldly in purpose. Now, this is where everything shifts, okay? You begin to show up differently, tall, big, right? Shining bright, showing your personality, exactly who you are, okay? Not diminishing any parts of yourself, okay? And not because you're perfect, because none of us are perfect, right? Okay? But because you're feeling aligned, because you're aligned with the calling on your life, okay? You've healed, you have reconnected, and now you're clear. You stop apologizing and start owning who you are unapologetically, okay? So, if any of this message stirred something in you, that's definitely not a coincidence. I want to tell you that. You know that God is calling you higher. You know there's more in you. You just need a safe space to heal and a roadmap to move forward. That's exactly why I created my breakthrough call, which is a free private 30-minute call with me, where we uncover what's been keeping you stuck and map out your next steps. Okay? This isn't about pressure. It's simply about clarity, connection, and finally giving yourself permission to become. Okay? I want you to go to my website. There's a link. Go to the website www.stacycrawley.com/breakthrough-call. Again, www.stacycrawley.com/breakthrough-call. Okay. Let's talk, let's pray, let's map out what you're in your becoming season, and let's do that together. Because I believe that we all need each other. And you're not meant to do anything alone. Okay. It's easier to get to the destination what God has for you when you're working with someone who has also been through the exact same journey that you've been through and have come out on the other side. Okay. So I want you to know that you're not too much. Okay. You're not too late, and you are not forgotten. There's more in you. There's more purpose in you, and there's healing waiting for you. Okay. This is your season to rise. Okay. This is your moment to become her. Thank you so very much. Again, please book your breakthrough call with me, and let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how I can help you to get there. Thank you so much, and take care. Bye.
Well, thank you for that, Stacy. That was really beautiful. Love what the experts that were added from the book and everything. I thought that was really powerful. I think that women are really trying to own their stories more now. And I really love to see it. So thank you so much, ladies. I believe that was our last speaker for the day, unless anybody, especially maybe one of the authors, would like to hop on and maybe read a little excerpt from their chapter in the book of Girl Heal. Perla, I know you're there. Amy, you're there. Let's see. Do we have any other authors in the house? I am seeing here. Okay. If none of our authors want to hop on here and read an excerpt from the book, maybe I will go ahead and read one from mine, just because we have a little bit of extra time, and I would like to fill in the time with some of the inspiring words from our recent publication, which was Girl Heal, Unlock Your Inner Power. This book, ladies, by the way, has already climbed the bestseller list. In less than 24 hours, it's already number 2 in Women in Business Kindle Store, number 12 in Creativity and Self-Help, and number 21 in Women in Business Books. How exciting. That is all thanks to all of your support and for being on here and believing in the mission. Just really grateful to have that kind of encouragement, because this is something we are doing that's really, really powerful here. We believe that the healing of the world is really going to transform all of the changes that we want to see, right? Especially now in this climate. Stacy's URL, yes, I'll go ahead and drop it in the link. Thank you for saying that, Jen. And I've also dropped the link here for the Girl Heal book. If you haven't gotten your copy yet. And let me drop Stacy's URL. Thank you for reminding me of that. I don't want you guys to miss out on Stacy. She is powerful. And I love her offer to do a little breakthrough session with everybody. I think those go such a long way. And as you got to see how magical she is, let me just add here, Stacy. Of course, yes. Well, let me just pull out that link. It's taking a while to load, probably because I'm streaming and doing a lot of other things in the background. But thank you, ladies, so much for tuning in. And definitely come back tomorrow for day 3 of Girl Heal. Meanwhile, while that loads, I'll go ahead and read a little excerpt from my book, from my chapter in Girl Heal. Has everyone gotten their copy yet? Definitely leave a review if it is resonating, if there's a chapter that you feel really aligned with. They're all very, very, very powerful. Okay, so my chapter was Girl Heal, the power of showing up before you're ready. I used to think I had to wait until I was ready to launch the business, ready to get on camera, ready to speak on stage, ready to write the book, ready to lead. But the truth, ready never came. I spent years watching myself write goals on vision boards, year after year, flipping the page, rewriting the same dreams I hadn't touched. It was a cycle of waiting to feel perfect, waiting to feel worthy, waiting for someone to say I was enough. And then one day I asked myself, how many more dreams was I going to let collect dust while I convinced myself it wasn't the right time? That's when I realized you don't lead when you have it all figured out. You lead because you're willing to show up while you're still becoming. So, this is about embracing the healing journey as a leader. This year cracked me open in ways I wasn't prepared for. I've juggled businesses, motherhood, heartbreak, and the weight of responsibility while still showing up for my clients, authors, events, and communities who depend on me. There were days when my body felt tired, when my spirit felt stretched thin, and when self doubt whispered that I was failing. And yet, those were the very moments that became the soil for my growth. When I look back, these are the moments that changed everything. So I'm not going to share those because I encourage you to grab the book and read for yourself, because I think that when we read books like this, we need to take the time to highlight, to screenshot, and to really reflect. And sometimes it takes you a lot of time um, to process certain things. It takes you maybe not a lot of time, but it takes you time to process certain things. And so you need to give yourself the space to come back to the book when you're ready. That way you're not just flying over it. And Rishika, I see you on there. I think we were supposed to, were we supposed to have you yesterday? Because I'm not sure if we missed you. But if you'd like to hop on, we would love to have you. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words. Thank you, Perla. And yes, I want to drop the link to Latte with Leaders once again, just to make sure nobody misses it. Because after this event is over, we will continue our community and collaboration through sisterhood inside of Latte with Leaders. So let me just drop the link for Latte with Leaders here. And I would love to see you all on the next one. They happen every Tuesday. And like I said, this is where we take the conversations deeper. This is where you can engage with some of the authors and speakers and me. And we will discuss the topics and answer the questions and I always encourage the conversations to go outside of that coffee chat so you can truly connect authentically with the women who are in this space, because we're all like-minded, we're all impact-driven, all ambitious, high-achieving, right? As everyone mentioned here. We're all building something really impactful. And I do want to share one more thing. As I mentioned, I have the opportunity for some other upcoming publishing books. We have Moms Rise and Thrive is coming up. It's publishing already next month. So we will be filling authors quickly. That way we have time to get that ready and published. And who knows, I think we will be hosting another summit called Moms Rise and Thrive to celebrate this one. I will drop that in the link for anybody who is interested in joining. And for those of you who are also ready to share your story, we do have a lot of solo book opportunities for publishing. We guide through the entire way through the framework of your book. We support you with getting it to bestseller status. And if you need help with writing, we do have ghostwriting services. So you're not alone in the writing process. I think it's truly important to share your story. As you've seen here, the women here that are sharing their stories, they're healing and they're leading and they're becoming all at the same time. And it's really powerful. It's really inspiring. And it's supporting that next level growth that truly that's what we're on, right? We're those high achievers. So I've gone ahead and dropped those links. And I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. If there's any other questions or anything that you have, please drop in the comments. But for now, we will see you on day 3 of Girl Heal tomorrow. And we have lots of exciting speakers, and we'll be sharing even more opportunities that you all can be a part of. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.